Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to the Spake Satguru Sivananda in this new year. Let's learn more. Let's understand the quotes better this year and be a better person, better version of ourselves. So now Nana is here and he's going to explain the quote and he's going to elaborate on it and also give the background in which Guru Garu has said. And I'm going to share the quote now and then we will take it forward. Everyone should develop a keen sense of responsibility unto oneself. So, Nana, here is the quote. Please elaborate on this. And there are quite a few things here. How to develop a sense of responsibility is something we want to know, and how to be consistent on it. And what are the tools that will help us to stay on the track, and how do we develop this sense of responsibility? Nana, over to you.
Namaste. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. As usual, we are having a wonderful quote here today. Before we go for the quote, one or two things I wanted to tell you about the 1st January. Generally, worldwide, it is considered as the New Year's Day. What we generally do on the New Year's Day, of course, greeting is, of course, a common thing, common feature. We greet each other for a hopeful, a better New Year. So, from my side, I greet all of you for a bright New Year before us. And this gives us some responsibility according to Guruji. Because the present quote is also speaking of our responsibility. He says, our responsibility unto oneself. How are you responsible to yourself? So we take it this way. So all responsibilities that we have are pertaining to others. For example, the social relationships that you have gathered in the world. Maybe your wife or your spouse. Maybe your children, because you have got them, you are responsible in a way for your children. And they have to be grown well, and then they should become good citizens, and also they should also good to themselves and to others. And we have friends, those who are always, they work with us, and they entertain us, and they help us. In so many ways, we have spent our time with them. And also with the government that we have chosen. These days, most of them, we call them as democratic governments. So here you should not have any grouse, have a right to protest. But, you cannot refuse following any law by the government. Protests are different, but you have to follow the law. Suppose if you gain the power, then of course you can think of changing the law. But as the law is there, law should not be broken. So this is the citizenship. So such kind of responsibility we have towards government. We have responsibility to the society, on which we are dependent. The earlier man who was living in forest, he was not, of course, depending on anything else, even for his clothes or for his language communication, or for anything. Now we are responsible. We are connected to the world. And we have to be grateful. So we always say, we thank you for anything that we have received. So this kind of relationships that we have grown, and we think that, we are responsible to be responsive to those who are responsive to us. The one who says namaskara, you are also bound to say namaskara. You have to respond. If he is giving you the respect and honor, you have to give him respect. If he is giving love, you have to give him love. If he is angry against you, you should be cool and then appease him. So all these things are there because you have to go with them, go with the society, go with the people. So we think that it is our responsibility. So we have so many responsibilities. Well, that's fine. But here what Guruji says, a keen sense of responsibility. This is the most keen. Keen is the most important key word here. Keen. Keen sense of responsibility. It's not just mere adjective, that can be put it and separated. The whole phrase is one word. Keen sense of responsibility is one word. So responsible to whom? To the world? That is the problem. Is it to the world? How long you keep with the world? How long you stay in the world? This is a temporary phase. As if we have come on a visit to some village or some town or some city, and you are staying with your friends or going away. Back. Where is the back? Where should we go? So in our experiences, we come back and we go only on this earth. We are not going beyond. But when we have entered this Brahmanda, and when we have become conscious of our existence, when we are able to look at the whole world, then with this consciousness, by looking, so we have only left looking outside. So at some point of time, you may think that from where you have come, who is responsible for your stay, who is asking you to come out, and who is going to look after you when you leave this body. All these questions come later, not at the time you are conscious of that. So earlier we had some quote on Shraddha. What is that Shraddha? That Shraddha is near to the skin. The problem with us is many questions will be coming to our mind because when we are intent and we are very serious about the talk, then we'll be getting so many questions, doubts in our mind. How is it possible to keep Shraddha always? So for just 1 hour or for 1 week or for 40 days, because all these courses are there in the Hindu tradition. Mandala courses are there. For Mandala days, he will be on Anjaneya. Yeah, he will be Anjaneya Bhakta. Following some rigors. And then, doing 40 days, puja or so whatever it may be. So Ayappa people, Bhaktas they stay for 40 days Diksha and then go. And for Shiva Bhaktas, they also go on this, having a Mandala period spent on the rigors, very simple life. Away from the family. See, away from the family. They always keep away, they should keep away from the family, if not physically, at least mentally. They should be thinking of Hanuman or Ishvara or Ayappa or whoever it be. So that way, he is trying to detach himself, learning to detach himself from this mundane world. And this mind has to be trained. So after 40 days when he comes back, he should be in a position to maintain his mental tenor with the same spirit of coolness even when he is interacting with this world. Earlier, when the people are having this Diksha, they are not supposed to stay in their homes. They are supposed to go and stay in the temple. Even Ayappa Diksha also, they were going to stay in some temples. So they will have a company there. With them, they used to have the following this all practices and rigors. But now, these social circumstances are such, that, they are living with their own families, but they keep themselves away from them. They try to keep, but how far is it possible? We don't know. So this keen sense of responsibility you should feel when you think, when you have come number of times onto this earth, a number of times taking the lives, and then after so many experiences, after hearing so many things about the post life, then some question should come into your mind. That is, who am I? I was somebody in my previous birth. I am somebody today, and I may be somebody tomorrow. Then, who is he? The one who is visiting. So when we have raised this question as to who am I, even Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also asked us to only think of who am I. So when you are dealing with the social life and we are dealing with so many activities in the society, you should keep this. That is a Shraddha, Hema. That is a Shraddha. You should keep that there is something, because I have come here temporarily. I am looking after these things temporarily. So there is something above this. So you are only dealing this as the things come to you. As the things come to you, you should not draw them to you.
Yeah, I was
Because
asking you
generally,
how do we keep Shraddha consistent? Because
if you want to keep Shraddha consistent, you should have this question lingering in your mind always 24/7 into 60, into 60, into 60, whatever it may be. Every second, every split of second, you should not forget this. So that way you can keep the Shraddha with you. And this Shraddha comes only when what happens tomorrow, where do I step tomorrow, where I am going to do, and how, the same thing you can repeat. And these things are repeating not because of something else, some destiny, or some destiny is being formed by you. You are forming your own destiny. That is the karma theory. So all these things you are forming yourself, and you are entangling yourself, and you are entering into prison by yourself, and you are staying there. The doors are open. Doors are not closed in this prison. Doors are always open. But you are holding the chain and then you are not going. You say that the chain is tying you. Chain is not tying, chain is loose. The thing is, you are not willing to go out. So there the Shraddha has to be developed. Shraddha has to be developed. Sense of responsibility. This sense of responsibility is Shraddha. With the Shraddha, with the care, with intent, serious intent, you should keep this in your view, that you are a temporary boarder here, a temporary boarder. Because a student who joins a hostel and stays there for 1 or 2 years and then goes out. But he knows that after March and annual examinations are over, he has to go. So he knows that. But most of the mischief, they do only during this stay. And they entangle them. And they don't want to leave the hostel. Even after, in our hostels, in our university hostels, they don't leave hostel. They cling on. So that the same thing, the same temperament, we are also holding to the world. The prison doors are open, the chain is also loose. You can go away, but you are not prepared to go away. Why this? Why this? So you have to train your mind towards the goal, the very question that you have raised to yourself, who am I? You keep that in view and you think that you have to reach there. So what happens here, because as things go on, as we have seen in Krita Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kalyan, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, the Yukteswara Maharaj Ji also says that all these problems we have brought with our what you call intellect. Our intellect is doing the mischief. This intellect, instead of looking to its origin, it is looking forward. It is looking outside and keeping you busy. And from each yuga, you see the material world is growing enormously before you. So many attractions in Kali Yuga. It's only the material development that you are dragged to it and you are dragged to the world. It was not there in the earlier times, in the medieval times and the ancient times. In the ancient times, they were only having some agriculture, some handicrafts, and then there used to be some Raja who was looking after their welfare. They are taking care. That's all. He was not looking into the welfare. It was not a welfare state, just a law and order state. So that was a simple institution, a simple society, a simple industry, a simple agriculture, a simple commerce, not like MNCs. So now, of course, more than the political empires, we have built commercial empires. Crores of rupees. We don't know how they have gathered. They could gather there, and then how they are spending. So these things, the development of materialism takes you away from the spiritualism, because we are in this particular dichotomy, either this side or that side. So if you look into the history, the European or Western flood, we are only, we are trying to face and then sink in this flood, the cultural flood. And this cultural flood is based on the self. That the self is very predominant in their culture. Everybody thinks that he is something, he is an entity. When you think you are an entity, how are you going to look into the other one who is supreme? This self has grown every time, and it has been misusing what all the practices that we have started for keeping our mind cool. For example, you can take right from the Rakshasas and down to the Kali Yuga. The tendency is that one wanted not to die. Okay. One wanted the entire earth should be his. That's okay. And we have other one who thinks that not only this Brahmanda, so the entire thing should be his. So this kind of desires, they are propelling in one's mind. And how can he keep quiet? And how can he think of the other world? Suppose we can take in Purana, so many legends are there. So all these legends are not just stories. There is some inner meaning to each legend. For example, you take, I think, time is running out. So one example is Hiranyakashipa. So Hiranyakashipa, he does not want to see God, because he says, if God is there, show me. Where is he? Where is he? Because God is not seen. This darshan also will come to later. The God is not giving darshan to whoever challenges. Whoever he may be, if he challenges, he is not going to give darshan. So this Hiranyakashipa was challenging everybody. Show me God, show me God. To whom you are giving respects, to whom you are praying. With such keenness, this keenness is there. Even otherwise also he is using the keenness, the Shraddha. No moment he forgot about God. Every moment he is thinking of God, whether negatively or positively. So that was his tapas. And God had nothing to do but to give him darshan at the end, in which he was immersed in him. He was immersed in him. So this is Vaira Bhakti. We have so many kinds of bhakti. We have Nava Bhakti Bhavas. Nava Bhakti Bhavas are there. This Vaira Bhakti. One thinks that God is his husband. irrespective of sex, even Gopikas or then Munis or all, they think that he is their Bharta. Bharta, the one who protects them. Bharta means, it doesn't mean that in a physical Bharta, who protects. So that way, there is Bhakta. And somebody takes him as Mitra. So many kinds of Bhakti Bhavas are there. So this Hiranyakashipa was the Vaira Bhakti. And another example, Hiranyakashipa, he does not want to see the God. But he remembers God. And second, we have the Ravanasura. Ravanasura was also a great tapasvi. Not only tapasvi, he was also doing yajnas. In Kritega, when you come to Treta Yuga, because those two practices were misused mostly by such kind of tamasic people. So these tamasic people have been attending to that. And they have taken maximum benefit because this yajna or tapas are only technologies through which you can contact and you can develop relationship with this Mahashakti. So in our stories, they say that Ravanasura was doing tapas for Shiva and Shiva gave him darshan. And he was not satisfied with that. And he was going to the extent of asking Parvati to himself. See? What does it mean by asking Parvati to him? It is not a physical Parvati or the human Parvati or biological Parvati. He was asking this essence of Parvati. Parvati means Prakriti. So he already had become Shiva Bhakta, and Shiva is very close to him. Jnana is very near him by his side. And then he wanted to be head of the entire Brahmandas. Brahmanda or Brahmandas, whatever it may be. So he wanted the control over the entire thing. Otherwise, he was already having the control about this planet and this grahas, this is Saura Kutumbam. He was having the power to control them. All grahas were in his hands, also what you call Dikpalakas were in his hand. All this he had achieved. And then he wanted to achieve the entire Brahmandas, not only this Brahmanda, entire Brahmandas. When he asked for Parvati, his meaning was that. And then, when we are asking such a vast thing, are you able to hold it? Can you keep this in your mind? Does your mind have enough space to keep it? That is Mahamanaha. Shiva has Mahamanaha. He is conscious everywhere. But here, if you want to take that, your gigabytes or kilobytes are very few. That space is not sufficient. So he wanted to lift the, what you call the Parvata. Parvata means the weight of that entire Brahmandas. He was not able to do that. So these legends are very important, which tell you that when you have become selfish, that is the maximum that you could ask the God. And when you have asked for the maximum, how you have failed. Even then he should have realized that there is something that you should also know. So there is one thing, being selfish. Selfish means having his own entity, and he is particularly wanting his own conditions. And so he should have thought about just for a second, because Guruji says it's only a second, a momentary time is all possible, is necessary, not even a split of moment is necessary for thinking of moksha. So that's so easy. You can think of moksha even amongst all these things. And when you think of moksha, what is your responsibility to what you are doing here for that ultimate? So responsibility is not for others. In society, we have so many responsibilities. And these responsibilities are only social relationships. That's why Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam. You just surrender yourself to me, then there is no question of any responsibility to you. So when you are thinking of the ultimate, these holdings, these chains, these jails are not going to hold you. You can leave all of them, all dharmas. Any dharma can be broken if you are working for super dharma, Guruji says. Any dharma, social dharma, or family dharmas, or whatever dharmas can be written off. If you are particularly having the only thing in your mind, a only thing about your responsibility to reach. So that dharma is a very important thing, the supreme dharma. So when supreme dharma is there, these belongings, these things, these chains and these things, they are not going to hold you. So here, responsibility not to others, responsibility to oneself is the most important thing. So I think, we cannot, we don't have time to prolong on this, but this is sufficient. The main thing is that in whatever, in the midst of all busy engagements and all that, we should always keep one thing in our mind about our responsibility to ourselves. That's all. It's a very simple quote in a way, but it is the most pertinent one for every one of us, because he says every one of us. So there's no question of qualifications, any qualifications needed. So we shall stop here. Namaste.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you so much. And also you have dealt with my question about Shraddha as well, which we have discussed previously in a couple of episodes ago. So what are the plans for today, Nana? New Year. Do you remember how we used to go to Guru Garu and everyone used to stay up till late, till 12 o'clock?
Guruji, yes. Yeah, I want to tell you this and I forgot about this. Guruji, when we said that we are celebrating New Year's Day, he said, why? Why should you celebrate New Year? He asked us. In what way? Suppose if it is a birthday, you say, if I am celebrating my birthday, why is it a celebration? Why it doesn't need any celebration? Why? Then he explained, when one year has passed, you should review what you have done. When a day is passed, you should review your day's activity and where you have faulted and where you are good. So where you have faulted is more important, because you have to correct it tomorrow. Similarly, the last year, it's not a celebration, it is only speaking of the responsibility that you hold. Just now, which we have dealt here, this responsibility is that what you have done for the whole year, in what way, any creditable thing have you done or not? Or discredited things did you come across in anything else? Wherever you have faulted, what were your mistakes? To what extent you are responsible for those mistakes? So you should have an introspection. Even for every birthday is not to be celebrated, but it is meant for introspection. So a new year or anything is not going to be celebrated. It should remind you of your responsibility to yourself.
Yes, Nana. Yes. Yes, I remember this. Guru Garu used to say, every time we celebrated his birthday as well, he would say the same thing. And for New Year's Day, we used to go ask for 0-hour message, Guru Garu. We wanted to hear from you.
To give.
Yeah, there are lots of speeches of Guru Garu, 0-hour speeches. And we used to stay there till 12:30, 1 o'clock, even more, I guess, and then take prasadam and then go home. Yeah, I remember all those days as well. Krishnamurti uncle Krishnamurti uncle, Punyam Chandar uncle, all the Bhajanepalli uncle, all of them, they used to gather up around, and of course, Raghavendran uncle is always there. So yeah, we used to hear from Guru Garu. Yeah, lovely. Nice reminiscences, Nana. So happy New Year to everyone again, and let's review about what we have done, what we need to do, and as the quote says, as Nana has explained, let's be very keen on developing this responsibility onto ourselves. Okay. Namaste, everyone, and see you all again next week.